Starbucks workers across the nation are still fighting for their right to unionize, but the company is getting even more creative in attempting to crush them and retaliate against them as they try to organize their workplace. One story that really caught my attention had to do with an employee at the Elmwood Avenue Starbucks in Buffalo, New York. She posted this video to TikTok just yesterday. Get a load of what she and her coworkers are dealing with.
The Starbucks on Elmwood Avenue in Buffalo, New York has been on strike since last Thursday. We're striking to protest Starbucks' retaliatory tactics and continued abuse towards us for becoming the first unionized store in the United States. Yesterday morning, corporate decided to turn on our mobile order pay system, knowing that we were still striking and that the store was closed. This meant that Starbucks customers would place their order without arriving, pay for it, and then not be able to pick up their items. They would then take out that aggression on the striking workers. This morning, they did it again. Behind me is the mobile order pay screen. You can see that it is full of orders that have already been placed this morning. This store is still closed and we are still on strike, and these customers will not be able to pick up these products. Starbucks not only doesn't care about their workers and our rights, they also don't care about their loyal customers.
As someone who worked at a Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, which is similar to Starbucks. Similar. I mean, I know what it's like when people need their coffee and they don't get what they want right away. So this was very much intentional. This was very much done to pit customers against the partners, the workers over at Starbucks. It's like so incredibly disgusting that they did that.
Yeah. You know, and this relates to the point that I was trying to make earlier in the earlier segment. This guy Schultz he's a liberal.
Howard Schultz, yeah.
He's a Democrat. He's a Jewish guy who traditionally, they were associated, Jewish people were associated with leftward, left-leaning politics, especially in this country. He checks off all of those boxes as far as identity, right? He's supposed to be one of the good ones when it comes to, these corporate overlords, but he behaves in the exact manner as everybody else. He might as well be one of these private prison CEOs, right? All he cares about is the bottom line. It doesn't matter how much money Starbucks is now making. It doesn't matter how the cost of living has changed in places like Buffalo and across the country. It doesn't matter that the standard of living of his employees is falling behind that of many other Americans, especially those in his cohort. He thinks if there's a widespread unionization effort in Starbucks across the country, that they will experience a hit in their bottom line. And so he's fighting this tooth and nail.
Oh, yeah.
And he's gonna use every single dirty tactic that he has at his disposal. And we shouldn't be surprised by it, because this is what bosses do. Girl bosses, lib bosses, right-wing bosses, all bosses. This is what they do.
So it's interesting that you say, oh, he checks off all the boxes, and turns out based on the retaliation we're seeing. And remember, Howard Schultz came back from retirement
to do this,
just to crush the workers, just to stop them from unionizing, because so many of the stores had already begun organizing their workplace. But he himself is under the impression that he's a good guy. Even as he's retaliating, even as they're engaging in this. And I'll tell you exactly what his statements were in just a moment. You don't want to miss that. But first, I do want to show some love to the striking Starbucks workers over in Buffalo and draw attention to why they're striking in the first place. So one of the baristas at the Elmwood Avenue Starbucks says this: the catalyst is really short staffing, under training, no leadership, especially at the Elmwood location. We currently have a proxy manager, which means it's a manager of another store who checks in on us. They check in often by having other managers sit in our lobby, but they're not leading the store. They're just kind of spying and giving us these warnings. And so the other experience I had was with managers, and managers usually don't just sit there and spy on you. When things get really, really busy in the store, they jump in, they help you make the drink so you don't get backed up. Like, they're actually hands-on, that's part of their job. Based on what the barista is saying here, it's pretty clear that that's not what they were up to. They're just, monitoring and surveilling them. The Elmwood partners are being held accountable for not following Starbucks's, oh, by the way, this is a statement, a strike letter to Starbucks from the Elmwood Avenue partners. The Elmwood partners are being held accountable for not following Starbucks policies that are continuously violated by stores in the surrounding area. Yet the other Starbucks partners have not been coached properly and are written up for the same violations. To give the first union store multiple write-ups one day after the other is blatant discrimination and evidence of retaliation. And Howard Schultz is in a bit of trouble because if he's here to crush the workers who are trying to unionize, he's failing. Starbucks workers at 330 stores in 38 states have filed to unionize. Starbucks is resisting acknowledging and accepting the unions. Starbucks has offered wage increases exclusively to non-unionized workers, and they've given the unionized workers the middle finger. And now going back to Howard Schultz and what he's up to, the Washington Post recently did a write-up, a profile on him. And the 69-year-old CEO had always seen himself as the good guy of American capitalism, believing that his own wealth and Starbucks' rise to become one of the most ubiquitous brands on the planet was direct outgrowth of the company's concern for its workers and their well-being. Schultz had seen the way his father, a truck and taxi driver in New York City, had been treated by his employers. They had broken him, Schultz believed, turning him into an abusive man who was unable to provide for his family. And I took notes from that employer and started using it against organizing workers at my company. I mean,
no, that's not what happened. Yeah. Not quite.
He didn't say that, but that's essentially what he's doing. To Schultz, unions existed to protect workers from bad companies, very bad companies, like the ones who had abused his father. That's why unions were created, he said in an interview. A union had no place at a company that cared about its workers like Starbucks, Schultz believed. But it's up to the workers to make that decision, not the executives at Starbucks.
That's what I was gonna say, according to who? And I just wanna say to the audience at home, full disclosure, I'm a Starbucks enthusiast. If you follow me on Instagram, you notice that I just redeemed my 400-point reward.
Wow.
Got a free cup, it's worth $20. I just did that. But I think Starbucks needs to be careful here because you're not Amazon.
Yeah.
You are not banking on people's, just ability to be like, I like my boxes here in 2 days. I'm getting my groceries delivered. I'm literally using Amazon for damn near all of my shopping needs. It's gonna be a lot harder for them to say goodbye to Amazon than it will be for people who are turned off to be like, I don't want your coffee anymore. So I think Schultz need to be careful with this because people could turn on a dime if they continue to see that he's treating his workers in such a poor manner.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's so many other options for coffee. You don't have to go to Starbucks.
McDonald's is actually overrated, I think.
Overrated?
I mean, underrated. That's what I meant to say.
I agree.
Sorry. I'm so used to calling stuff overrated because I'm such a hater, but yeah.
Me too, I get it. I get
underrated.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.